Warm are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot and left the heater on down here, not down at the beginning of the
No,
week.
the first beer is going right to my head, get me all flush. Uh-oh.
What?
Something just came up on my notifications.
Yeah, like what? Braveheart radio's on the air?
Yeah. We're working on it. Braveheart radio's on the air.
Oh, I must have forgot to unplug my mic.
Oh, it's by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so
Starting now. What up, party people?
streaming, young rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's that star spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the frame, you're the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to rename the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, Satan's that star spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, and the I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
knew that Leonard Cohen.
Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof.
I thought it was
Saw her bathing on the roof.
everybody did a
Her
version.
beauty in the moonlight overthrew ya. And she tied you to a kitchen chair, and she broke your throat, and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
You ever hear from Radio Dylan?
Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love is how to shoot somebody who'd outgrow ya. When it's not a cry, kill a night. Someone to sing a light. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'm all for it.
Problem is, you see, not everybody thinks that. And that's the problem, because then everybody, most people are so stupefied. So when a person does good, they think they're unnaturally upset because they believe the heart that's on the news.
My theory, my thinking is, this is a line from one of the if we would do this before, but if I'm going to carry it, it's going to be I don't want you to say it. I want you to think I'm just and then when I have to be that guy, then you'll be as surprised as this person.
Well, see, he was exercising. See, in Pennsylvania, you have an open carry, and he was exercising. But there again, if everybody did it, you wouldn't have to anybody worry about it, and of course, you wouldn't have to worry about using it because everybody's got one.
Think of it.
Yeah.
That's why people don't shoot people. They don't have problems like in a lot of Texas. Motherfuckers will shoot you.
That's why we don't have any problems at gun shows. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to shut this thing off, and we're going to go live. You know what live is? Live. Hi, Jack. So you're doing the Fonzie thing. Yo. Hey.
I have something to scare you, to horrify you. I brought a piece of a machine gun. And machine guns are scary, dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
This may kill you, but I think you can handle it.
Oh my God!
Yes!
Oh my God!
Yes!
Don't let the ATF show me holding it like this and hitting it with a hammer, because that would be a gun.
Yes! It's a bullet, just a 9mm round.
Yeah, just a simple 9mm round. But if you hold it in your hand like this, try hitting that primer with a hammer for a semi-blunt point, and it goes off. You just fired an illegal gun.
Well, show them your lower teeth. Do you know how that happened? One time when I was a teenager, he had me over here show me how tough he is. He put a bullet in his mouth and had me whack him on the back of the noggin. And it went off, and there you go. Believe it or not, I've had a cocktail or two.
Then people are going to think we're a bunch of friggin' liars out there.
Mm.
Hey, Biden can stand there and lie in front of the TV all he wants and nobody says anything, so what the hell? Yeah, we made it. We done made it another week, and I will give you a gun show report. My gun show was fairly successful, even though the weather straightened out on us. We ended up with just shy of 400 people. It was like 396 people came through there. I sold a little over $1,000 off my tables, but because I was one of the people putting it on after we paid the expenses, I will be able to put about $800 into my pot for fixing up the undisclosed location.
In your pot to fix up the kettle.
Jack goes, not scared. Thought you were going to show a picture of Mumble's wife dressing like a teenager from the other day.
Whoa. Oh, that was horrifying.
I didn't see that.
She had on it looked like something out of a dangum Cyndi Lauper video.
Yeah.
It was borderline fishnet stockings, and it was like
she had a black corset.
Almost. I mean, it was kind of close to a mini skirt.
Yeah.
And she had on these black, I don't know the names of these kinds of shoes, forgive me, but they were, higher heeled, but they looked like mini boots or something.
Yeah.
It just didn't look as dignified as.
And were the stockings black fishnet?
Yeah.
Oh,
they were.
My God, what a sight that would have been. Maybe 50 years ago.
I'm going to see if I can find it for you.
Oh, hi, Joseph. Super news. What's that, Jack? Or Joseph? Anyway, the gun show turned out to be pretty good. People were buying stuff, though. Didn't see too many guns go out the door, and not too many came in. But most of those that did come in were sporting rifles. They didn't bring assault weapon type things, so-called. It's like, bleh, so-called assault weapons. And
I wonder what a squirrel would think about someone tromping through the woods with a old-style flintlock filled with buckshot, squirrel hunting.
I can tell you right now, you're nuts.
I'm pretty sure they would be kind of worried about us being assaulted. I'm just saying.
As long as the lead pellets weren't coated with salt. Anyway.
Here's that picture that people are referring to. I mean, as a first lady, it just doesn't seem near as dignified as like.
No, especially when you see the slit up the side.
Yeah, I mean, understandable, Miss President Trump's wife.
I know why she does that. That's so Biden would pat her on the ass and not the other ones.
Oh, boom! There you go, sir. Oh, that's so horrible.
Thank you, G.I. Yeah, it was a good show. In fact, Friday night, get this, I'm over there setting up on Friday, and I get home and there's 15 friggin' phone calls on my answering machine of people wanting to know if they could still get tables and if we were still having it because of all this coronavirus bullshit. And I called back as many as I could, but some of them were actually telemarketers. You could tell because they'd hear click, hello, Daryl. Is this Daryl? Click.
Are you going to mention the show at Eastmead?
Yeah, that's coming up. We're going to get
excited.
We're going to do it, Squad.
I'm going to pee my britches. I swear to Christ.
My gosh. Grab a hold of it. There's some rope around here somewhere. Tie that sucker off.
All I know is a square knot.
That's all right. Yeah, it was good. I'm well pleased with it because it allowed me to buy some more supplies. I was able to find some small rifle primer or small pistol primers Back that up. Yeah, small pistol primers. I was able to find 1,000 of them, so I bought them because I was out of small pistol primers. So I now can load some more 9mm 357 38 specials, which I sold out of the 38 specials this week. So the next, I got a couple hundred rounds of brass floating around. So between now and next weekend for the Ashtabula show, I have to get back behind the press and start pumping again. All the rest of my body is failing, but I'll tell you what, my right arm is really getting built up, pushing that press up and down, up and down, up and down. Anyhow, I'm range marshal at the range with micro militia right now. That's my news. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad somebody's out there doing something. That's the problem. We have too many people sitting on the sidelines. Reminds me of the old saying, chinky, chinky Chinaman sitting on the fence trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. Whoops, I shouldn't have done that. Now, though, I've never thought YouTube's liable to make it think that it's a racist comment. Let me know if you get, start getting censored. Anyhow, next week we will be at Ashtabula at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. That's next Saturday and Sunday. I have about 10 boxes in 9 meters, so if there's anybody out there in your area, Jack, that needs some, Ashtabula is only about probably an hour drive from most of your places out there. Have them come down. They're 50 round boxes, not 20 round boxes. I also was able to snag for my wife on my research some 223 ammo because they had some in, but here's the thing was she could only get 5 boxes of Winchester because that was the limit, and she could only buy 1 box of Frontier, which I believe is made by Federal. I mean, maybe wrong on that, but Frontier ammo, 150 round box of that, but she was only allowed to snag 1 of those. So we will probably have that there at the show. It should be here by then. Then we are pretty much free. And well, you just told me you did.
Well, I don't know. I can't.
Or are you too excited that you can't exaggerate?
Well, the fire department, fire hall, just up the road from my house. My wife she's an associate member. Her father was, rest in peace, he was a fire chief many years ago, and is putting on a gun show, and I'm going to help. I forget the exact date, with the 21st and 22nd?
22nd and 23rd.
22nd, 23rd of May.
Yep.
East Mead Fire Hall, Route 27,
Meadville.
Just outside of Meadville, PA.
Yeah, and it's going to be 70
people in the door, and I know from if anybody's been to the Crawford County Fair, East Mead puts on a great spread for food, and they're going to be cooking and making all kinds of stuff, and heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I, because I've been trying to get in there for 2 years.
Nice. Well,
finally the political atmosphere there got changed.
Yeah, there's certain people were the ones who didn't want certain types of activities going on there, but I think different people are in charge of different things. I don't want to start saying the wrong names or wrong stuff.
No, we ain't gonna play the name.
I'm not going to disparage anybody, but it will be a good show as long as I know you'll be able to pack in the people, dealer wise.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
And
okay, like I said, there'll be 86 tables or 76 tables, and I already got 1 table reservation. And I won't hesitate to put out who that was. It's a lady who founded a thing for children, especially that are having health issues, severe health issues. She set up a program of a hunt of a lifetime for these kids.
Kind of like a Make-A-Wish Foundation type deal?
Yeah. So she brought me over the flyer and said, hey, you got any reservations for this yet? I said, no, we just got the flyers on Friday. She says, well, you got one now. And so details, because that's between her and her other people. Somebody didn't do their job.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Anyway, so the gun show looks promising already because I've had people were picking up flyers. I'll be mailing out a bunch of flyers this next week, probably about 150.
And you know, in where we live, this is like hunting, fishing, redneck central. So people are always looking to get a good deal on a box of ammo. Or
I found out that New York's not having any shows up there. I laughed my ass off. When I heard him say that you can take a ghost gun and build it and put it together in 30 minutes.
Yeah. And the president said it, so it's got to be true.
Yeah. So I must have done it all wrong all those years.
Well, the fact checkers didn't check his facts, so he must be factually facting.
Yeah, he's defective, all right. Maybe in an hour and a half, if you've had experience doing it, okay, and you have a nice little mill to do it on. But if you do it, the system is designed so you can do it with a drill press. Well, you can do a nice job with it, but you don't do it in no 30 minutes. I don't give a shit who the F you are unless you have a tool and die.
I mean, even, yeah, say you are able to get 30 minutes, that 80%. But to completely reassemble a weapon from springs and pins in a box to a fully functional weapon, I mean, I don't care who you are. It's not going to, I mean, yeah, you may get it together, but it'll be a rattle trap, a piece of crap, may not work right.
Martin Grace, we're being buffered already. Wonder if it was over that China statement. Or maybe it's because somebody mentioned the 80% receiver.
That could very well be.
So, welcome to Free America, folks, where you will believe only the truth that we call the truth. So, anyway, well, again, kids, we're a little short on ink cartridges. I hadn't tried lately to get any. The last time they were out of them, they didn't know when they'd get any, and a couple places were supposed to notify me. A couple places are supposed to notify me when they come in, so I haven't gotten any yet. So we will be working off the we'll be working off the computer and yeah, Scott's phone over there. So you just bear with us. This message was held for review. Yeah, I'd like to see how you can do that in 30 minutes. Mumbles is an asshole. You shouldn't have said that. You can't tell the truth on YouTube. You know that. It has to all be lies. Liquid libations.
Call that a brain grenade. This is a new whiskey I just got the other day. It's called, Legent or Legent, Legent. It is the master distiller from Jim Beam and the master distiller from a Japanese whiskey company who now has controlling stock of Jim Beam. This is their baby.
It's got a nice.
It's
got a nice aroma.
It's got a good aroma. The taste isn't as what I had hoped it would be, but
you got your usual salute, toast.
Fuck you, Michael.
Damn the torpedoes! Full speed ahead. That is good. Trying to think of that aftertaste that's leaving right there with a flavor. It's like, that's good though.
Gasoline.
Yeah. Kerosene.
All right, I got a story. We're talking about our beloved president. This is a story off of Breitbart. It says Biden's infrastructure bill includes making diverse neighborhoods across America through zoning laws. Zoning laws.
Zoning laws.
All right, the focus of President Joe Biden's $2.3 trillion infrastructure bill is allegedly to address aging infrastructure across the country. But the massive bill covers a vast amount of other spending, including money for diversifying neighborhoods. This portion of Biden's American Jobs Plan would change zoning laws to end single-family home neighborhoods and allow for multiple-unit, affordable, or low-income rental housing. It's my thought right there. It's all about rental. If you don't own your house, you don't care. You don't really take a part in your neighborhood because you can come and go as you please. Mm-hmm. They want to zone out all these people who own their house and take a stake in their neighborhood.
Yeah, so
according to the White House fact sheet, the housing effort is an innovative new approach to eliminate state and local exclusionary zoning laws, which drive up the cost of construction and keep families from moving to neighborhoods with more opportunities for them and their kids. And it goes on to quote, for decades, exclusionary zoning laws like minimum lot sizes, mandatory parking requirements, and prohibitions on multifamily housing have inflated housing and construction costs and locked families out of areas with more opportunities. The fact sheet states, President Biden is calling on Congress to enact an innovative new competitive grant program that awards flexible and attractive funding to jurisdictions that take concrete steps to eliminate such needless barriers to producing affordable housing.
I just decided I'm going to apply for one of them grants and turn my house into a multiple family house.
Well, I'm not going to read anymore, but the way I see that is, just down over the hill here, there's...
Paramount?
Is that what it's called? Down by the vets?
Yeah.
There's...
Oh, no, that one's Morgan.
Yeah.
And then Fairmont, Fairview is over...
And then there's Guild Village down there. We have several... I know in Meadville we refer to them as the projects. Compared to like big cities, it's not the projects, but it's low income, higher crime. I mean, and that's the problems you have when you start putting people on top of people on top of people.
Especially if you got people who don't give a damn or don't care to work for a living, that have no pride in themselves, and want everything for nothing. And where do I go to sign up? All shit that you were claiming was being done to you to hold you back. He overcame and became successful and is well respected in this community. Okay.
Instead of throwing rocks at his house, metaphorically, why don't you go and knock on his door and ask him, "Hey, what can I do? How can
Yeah, how can I improve?
How can I succeed?"
Yeah, and I can tell you the first thing that most of them will tell you: go back to school and get whatever education they're offering, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
It's given to you. Steal as much as you can.
Yeah.
Learn. And don't take stupid like African dance or lesbian studies or any gazillion different
basket weaving 101.
Take that basket weaving 101. Your final semester.
That was a racist statement.
Well, one of my fraternity brothers took it because he had to fulfill one of his requirements, and he wasn't going to take an early class if he didn't have to, and that was the only class he could get early enough. So he knew he was going to go to class drunk, so he took basket weaving 101 to get his class.
I bet you come up with some pretty interesting baskets.
No, he was horrible. But I mean, you can have fun with your education.
Well, sure you can. It doesn't have to be a grind, but you got to remember, if you put an effort into it, it's going to give you something in the future. It may not be tomorrow, but maybe a week from tomorrow. May even have to wait a couple years, okay, before it'll give you something. And
There was a quote by a rock and roll musician. I won't say his name because I forget really. I just remember seeing the quote on a T-shirt. It's like, life is like sex. The more you put into it, the more you work hard.
Tongue in whose cheek?
Well, it was Gene Simmons, so his tongue was about this damn long. I did know his name. I just didn't want to say it, but I said it, so there. It kills me. Apparently Biden is calling this his Bipartisan Neighborhood Homes Investment Act. And that sounds innocuous enough.
Yeah, but it's
when you start looking at all the bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's home investment is the key word that they're using to sell you another tax-paying screw job.
I just thought of something. A friend of my wife's, he's a black guy over in Cleveland area. And I think I might have brought this up once before. But it was before the election was finalized, and she had called over and was talking to this gentleman, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to keep my head down." Like, she's like, "Why?" Well, all them Republicans are mad at all of us black people voting for Biden. She's like, "What do you mean?" "Oh yeah, it's all over the news." So she started asking him questions. Come to find out, in his area, the news was saying how the terrible Republicans were anti-black because you weren't voting for Trump. And that's it's just thinking about, what do they do? Okay.
Stirring the pot.
Well, no, hear me out. I'm kind of talking in circles. Yeah. But say, for instance, they make from your house to the next corner affordable housing. They can focus commercials and news on the various medias to say whatever you want. Or, if you don't pay attention enough more than just the headlines, I pull up my Breitbart. So it's right there. Black people are getting beat up by white people because they didn't vote for Trump. That's not the truth. But if that's what you're seeing every day.
Well, that's it. Remember what I said about the Nazis in World War II? Hitler and Goebbels, I guess it was his propaganda minister, tell a lie long enough, often enough, the people will begin to perceive it as the truth. Most of this stuff is just encouraging the lawlessness. Let's just put it that way. They're stirring the Republicans against black Democrats, okay, because supposedly the black Democrats voted overwhelmingly for Trump. It may be true, but it may not be true, because I've heard on the other side of the coin where Trump garnered a majority of the black vote over the Democrats. And even though he still supposedly lost the election, we all know the reason for that. But anyway, the news media is filling you so full of lies out there on a daily basis. They keep jacking it up, just like when we started to show signs of coming out of the coronavirus last fall. We got warnings of a new version coming out of Europe, and it's coming here, and we need to stop the travel to Europe. We need to lock down again to keep it from getting here. Now it's here. Now we need to maybe consider going back into another lockdown because it's spreading so fast, and it's actually ended up hitting the younger generations, the generation that the first one missed.
A fearful person, a scared person is easier to control. Mm-hmm. Bottom line.
Yeah, because you can handle, hey, I got something to make you feel better. This will take care of it, but all you got to do is sell me your soul.
Well, I traded mine to my roommate in college for some whiskey. Actually, I gave it to him for an art project. So eventually, he'll have to give it back to me. Honest to God, I did. He has it in a little ceramic jar at his house.
Fully clothed or naked?
We drank a bottle of Bushmills. Oh. He was an art major, special ed and art, and one of his class requirements is he had to use two types of pottery type he had to make something on the pottery wheel, and he had to make something like a box. And one had to house the other, and inside the one had to have something important. So he made a little vase on the pottery wheel, and he was also in jewelry making class. So he made a little silver stopper of this tattoo I had, and he put that in this big, awful, evil-looking box, and he had scrawled all kinds of Latin Dante's Inferno quotes on it. It's evil. And then one night we sat down, and I wrote down, "I bequeath my soul to blah blah blah," and he burned up the edges and he rolled it up and he put it in, and then he took it to class. And I guess the gal that he sat next to was like a diehard Catholic. She was absolutely mortified. The art professor, being an art guy, thought it was just, "Oh, you have his soul. That's great." She's like, "No, give it back to him." But yeah, Greg still has it.
There are so many dumb people out there.
But she was a believer, and anybody that's
you can be a believer, but
blind faith believer.
Yeah. Okay. You can be a believer. I believe in God, and I don't believe you can get my soul, but I do believe the devil could try and get my soul. Of course, the devil is trying to get my soul. Every time I turn around, the bastard's there.
That's why I'm here.
And I keep fighting them off with the help of Jesus. Jesus, goddamn squad.
What's that old saying you used to say all the time? Granny keeps beating off the Indians, but they keep
on coming and coming. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Grandma's beating off the Indians, and they keep on coming and coming.
Terrible.
We'll probably get another block. We must be in good spirits tonight.
Oh, yeah, good spirits.
And we haven't even drank the spirits. The spirit is with us. No, that's the force. Well, you get enough spirits in you, then the force will be with you. Something I was going to say. I was going to say something.
Oh, here's an interesting little ditty. Going to a different direction. Did you see that Antifa set a building on fire out there in Portland?
No.
Yes.
Well, there was no such thing as an Antifa. Just ask Biden. He said so.
According to Breitbart, Antifa rioters in Portland, Oregon, set a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement building on fire while agents remained trapped behind blocked doors. The fire began after rioters smashed windows on the upper floors of the building. Antifa continued its month-long siege of the ICE facility in Portland on Saturday night. Videos posted on Twitter show the violence perpetrated by the Antifa rioters as they smashed windows and eventually set a fire on the front of the building while ICE officers remained trapped behind locked doors. They then set it on fire while federal officers were inside. Independent journalist Andy Ngo. He's been following Antifa for quite some time. He's the reporter that got hit in the face with a bike lock here about a year and a half ago.
You know, the sad part is they got these ICE workers trapped inside there. They're a government agency. Don't they have guns? You're setting the building on fire. You're blockading us to keep us from coming out. I'm coming out shooting.
Antifa also obscured the security cameras before launching the arson attack. They're quoted as saying, "Burn the precinct to the ground," as the fire raged. Another video taken from above shows the scale of the fire as ICE officers respond from a rear exit to the facility. That's about it. But yeah, how is that not insurrectionist behavior? That's a government building.
And it's insurrectionists. They're just burning things down.
You know, that they're... I don't get it.
No, well, that's because the Antifa doesn't exist. The president said so.
Mm.
And you know the president would never lie to us.
Oh, and I guarantee he's not lying. He's just so hopelessly demented that he believes what's coming out of his mouth.
So, but like I said, anybody ever does that, if anybody were to come around here and try to barricade me inside my house and set it on fire, I'm sorry. You might get me, but I'm coming out. When I come out, I'm coming out swinging. And getting back to your friend here, I had a comment that I wanted to make. when you were telling me about the boxing and the pottery thing, and then the box, I would have made a can that looks like a 1 pound can of black powder.
Oh God!
And painted it with red and put triple F on it.
Oh yeah, you would have. For his, I was a subject of many of his art projects. For his, we had a dead woodchuck that showed up in our backyard, and at the time I still fit into my camouflage clothes. And I had my SKS with the bayonet on it. And so he took a series of photos of me low crawling up to it and then stabbing it in dramatic fashion. Oh, it was horrible. It was fine until I punctured the inside. The next day it stunk so bad I had to go over there and toss it in the dumpster. It was terrible.
That's working. Either that or I'm already on an emotional high or exhilarated high.
Yeah, I'm a little loopy myself.
And so as the show goes on, if we get a little fuzzy, don't worry about it. You have a fine tuning knob somewhere.
Dial us in, Ma. Dial us in.
I can remember when you're talking about art class. I have to bring this up. I can remember when I was in grade school. No, it was junior high, and I had art class, and we had to bring something in. And draw a picture of it, a portrait of it. So I just went hunting on Saturday and shot a rabbit. So I took a rabbit head in and was holding it with my hand in front of the paper, drawing it. And you ought to have seen some of the girls going absolutely nuts. The teacher didn't like it too well either, but when it was done, she said I don't care for the subject matter, but that was pretty nicely done.
Nicely done.
Including the blood drops that were dropping on the paper.
Another art story, since we're on a roll. My roommate, this was when we were still
politically incorrect that you go to just ask Biden, just look at Biden. They're after him for all those babes that he patted on the ass. And who's that congressman? Cuomo, not governor? Cuomo?
Yep.
He now has all these women coming out saying he made sexual overtures to them. And apparently he must not have been very good, or they would not have come back and said he was trying. Yeah, G.I. Joseph, they're not calling it anything about it up there in Oregon, but they are trying to call it an insurrection if you did the January 6th thing down in Washington. That's because in Washington, it was orchestrated by the Republicans, Trump supporters up in Washington or Oregon. It's Antifa, which we all know don't exist because Biden says it doesn't.
I got to tell you a funny story about whiskey. My dog likes the taste of whiskey, but I don't give him a bowl of it or anything because that would just be rude. But I put my fingers in it, and he'll come over and lick it off my fingers. And literally 30 seconds after he licks it off my fingers, he goes into the worst sneezing fit I've ever seen a dog. And he'll keep coming back. He'll start sneezing, and he'll look at me, and then he'll come over, and I do it again. Like young Daryl when he gets into his sneezing fits.
I have them fits too. You just can't stop. But when you sneeze, you're trying to get rid of something. If I sneeze hard, can we get rid of Biden?
No.
Oh, not allowed to do that one?
You have to sneeze and fart at the same time to make that happen.
I've done that before.
I damn near sold myself. See if I can find any other interesting.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back to Biden's dictates. You see, the communist that he picked for the head of the ATF was one of the participants. I don't know how much he participated or what his position was, but he participated in the Branch Davidian standoff. And when he was being questioned about that, he said that the Branch Davidians shot down 3 National Guard helicopters. They didn't shoot
with a Barrett 50 cal.
Yeah, with a Barrett 50. They didn't shoot him down. They did damage him. And they did hit him. No ATF agents were hurt, but he lied about the results. And at that time, they were being used as the diversion while the FBI set the building on fire to rescue the 29 little children or whatever it was. And that communist pecker-headed sons of bitches anyway. Every one of you that took part in that ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Of course, you got to have a, what is that? You got to have a conscience.
Yeah. Speaking of souls, they have none.
Yeah. And so if you participate in that and you're a government agent, I don't care what branch, FBI, U.S. Marshals, CIA, ATF, Bureau of Land Management, and the alligator catcher. Oh shit! Yo.
Speaking of ATF and Biden, nice segue. See where I'm going here? You know, I saw a bunch of stories pop up how all these new gun restrictions and background checks and ATF rules, but didn't, there's a story about Hunter Biden lying on his 4473 about being a raging crackhead, buying a gun, and what's being said?
Nothing.
But he's being applauded by these Hollywood misfits for overcoming all of his various problems. I've known this man since I was a teenager. I've overcome a lot of shit. No one's applauding me. That's what I'm just saying.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I've never. Everything I've done to you was all done in good faith.
I don't know about all that now. Before I met him, I was a Jesus-fearing Christian. I never touched whiskey. But now look at me. I'm a tattooed freak. A drunken tattooed freak.
Tell him everything he knows. And
for the most
part. A lot of what he don't know.
A lot of things taught me all the things I know and lots of things I shouldn't know.
So, but anyhow, getting back to this.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Then the other thing that he's working on, it wasn't done and made official, but he's now looking at trying to fix it so individual to individual cannot sell a gun at a gun show to another individual unless they go to a licensed dealer. And according to what I'm hearing, you can't do it at the gun show. You have to take to the licensed dealer's place of business.
I just had an idea.
Okay, you got to go to his place of business. And you see what's happening. They want to get the serial numbers of all the guns because once they can get the biggest list they can pile, then they can come after the guns and get, whatever. And
here's at your gun show where you're the FFL. You could set up your little phone setup where any guns bought or sold can go through.
That's the way it is now.
That's the way it is now, really? Okay.
If you're a licensed dealer, doesn't matter whether it's me or
well,
not.
I'm just saying, like
but the feds say you have to lay a copy or display a copy of your FFL. Okay, and then when you go in, if you're just an individual who has a table full of used guns, or the guy's legit that's buying it, you just go over and in Pennsylvania you have to do it with handguns. Okay.
I guess what I'm saying is there to get around the place of business
right now the law is temporary place of business is where you display your license.
Okay. Well, there you go. But they're going to make it harder and tougher.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. Drive people out. Back when I had my license, there was over 270,000 licensed gun dealers in the United States.
I figured that would be in Crawford County alone.
They didn't need that many because it had me. But then under the policies starting with the Clinton administration, the FBI or the ATF was starting to crack down and force people, making things so hard that it forced people out of business. So And it was mainly punctuation problems. You didn't put the period in the right place. You didn't dot the I. You didn't cross the T. Okay, or you didn't make your E legible enough. So they would go out and find reasons to shut these people down and fine them, and that. So or make it hard to get. So, well, it is 6:55. I think I'm going to bring up a piece of musica. Musica. You all out there like some musica? Okay, where am I? Oh, here I am. I'm still. Yeah, give me some more of that stuff, Francisco. That is good. That is good. Okay, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come on, folks. Where'd it go? Oh, can you hear the music on your site? Yeah.
As long as I remember, we marched across this land. Reach for a new horizon, pulled by the killing hand. Fed up with lies. The time has come to break this chains and fly.
Yeah, it's what I'm trying to get at. If I need it.
Until the end, here we are, mighty glorious at the end of the rainbow, with gold in our hands.
I was just curious.
I saw it in there the other day.
The treasure lies beyond the pouring rain.
Well, I kind of like if I can bring butter.
Our quest will last forever. For you, it's all the same.
It's what probiotics in there. Good.
Still ass.
No one can
I'm from the old school, man. I like the old food. This new shit is shit.
To reach above the sky. Here we stand.
When I was in the hospital back where I was a kid and I had a broken leg and I had a pin through my knee and traction for 6 weeks. Every night they asked me what I wanted to drink. Buttermilk. So I had to go down to the kitchen and get buttermilk because it was not on the tray. Then after about 2 weeks of me being there, they started putting it on the tray.
Wait.
Until the end, here we are, mighty glorious at the end of the rainbow, with gold in our hands. Here we stand, bound for until the end.
They probably closed me down for environmental protection.
Mighty glorious at the end.
I been letting.
You know, the cube rig over just works.
Okay. Hey, still get off on that. And then I had the 50 down near Maldives. Oh, we're not doing anything. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. Kick me in the ass. Get carried away here.
I am the unknown soldier.
Anyway, so I got the 50 out,
Some call me
and I gave them a
MIA.
demonstration. I only fired because at that time the ammo was 3 bucks a round.
Oh, yeah, with 5 now.
Look, yeah, 5 or 10. So I gave them a demonstration. I fired about 25 rounds. And one officer said he was in the military, and he always seen and heard these Maldives going, and he always wanted to have a chance to fire one, and he never got a chance to do it. And so the guys that were putting the show on sponsored well, asked me if he could fire that.
One they left behind.
They explained, well, sure, what the hell? And, I said, it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on, okay? So I put a 10-round bullet in there, strip, and he went down there and he left. Just as he was getting ready to let it off, some jackass comes walking over the back of the backstop.
Oh, God, I would have shot him inside out.
Okay? Coming to bitch about the noise. Now, that range has been there for ever and a day. And this guy lives across the road half a mile away. And he comes storming over there from the backside.
Yeah, really.
Okay? Yeah, because he didn't like the noise. And, they settled him down. They explained what was going on. They said, this is a training session for police officers so that they would know how to respond if they came across this kind of stuff. Don't you think they should know how to use it or understand that? Oh, yeah, they probably should, but
It's interfering with my Jeopardy.
But put one up your ass, okay? Yeah, what is with Emmy tonight there, Jack? I was just going to ask you. Well, I'm not even on the air yet. Oh, yes, I am. The music's over with. No, it's not.
I am the unknown soldier with no more tears to shed. I'm just a fading memory, part of the living.
Big range.
My country has betrayed me, yet I have forgiven you.
Appreciation for how
And
bad
every night I pray to
So you
God.
fired at 3,000 yards with tracers, and you're walking it up, and you have an M113 just shooting it.
I am the unknown soldier.
They just shoot volume.
The
Don't even
one
want to pierce it.
whom you cry. That familiar face that you can't face. The one your country told you died.
Made for World War
I
I.
am
So early
the unknown
1900s.
soldier.
And it is such a well-made gun.
To rescue
The way they taught you to shoot it,
and I
you hook your nose against one of the handles,
Butterflies, yeah.
and you.
Only death might ever
So
set
it was
me
like this.
free.
Literally, it's just
Only death might ever set me free.
a 50 cal shooting a bullet. This
I am the unknown
3,000 plus yards.
soldier,
Bunch
and
of
I'm
old
black
steel.
and blue and gray. I said I am
I
the
had it
unknown soldier,
in a
and
private
I
shoot
slowly
4th of July up in Warren County.
and I'm tired, and I'm hungry,
And
and I'm lonely, and I'm cold.
we had a car out there at 200 yards. And I was whittling away with it. They had explosive targets. And I was whittling away with the 50 caliber. And I was bouncing them all over the place. Because, this was one of them. Just shoot. Who gives a shit if you hit?
As long as you're within a 3 square, who cares?
Yeah. So I decided I'm going to try the 30 caliber out.
It bothers me that I never got to shoot that.
Yeah. Then I got the 30 caliber out, and I ran about 50 rounds out of a third belt of 200 308s, and I stopped and took that out because I couldn't tell where I was hitting with that. So I got a belt that had some tracers in it. So I clapped it down. The third tracer, which was four rounds between each tracer, third tracer, you could see it going and just zeroed right in on that little exploding target. Like that, hit that, boom, set the car on fire.
Nice. Watching a YouTube video some time ago, it was one of these gun channels, I forget, it wasn't the Demolition Ranch, but this guy was taking questions from viewers.
You want to turn your mic back on, Scott?
Sure. I was just telling, Daryl and I were talking about the 50 cal, and I was just telling a year ago, I was watching a YouTube channel where the gentleman was taking questions from viewers about just various gun-related topics, and it was all about the 50 cal. And he had a bolt action, I don't know if it was bolt action or if it was a semi-automatic 50 caliber sniper rifle. And the question was something to the effect: is Hollywood accurate that you can shoot through like a big brick wall and kill somebody? Well, he's like, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'll show you. And this guy had this round. He's like, I have 3 of these. I paid $100 and some a piece for each one of them. It was like armor piercing, excendiary, explosive, diamond tip. It gave the guy a reach around type. And he built a thick, like a double thick concrete wall, and he put a couple of watermelons behind it. He spray painted where he was aiming. And not only did it blow a hole through the concrete, the watermelon, he's like, maybe we'll have watermelon salad. No. But even like the backstop got blown to shit with one round. It was $100 round, but God almighty.
At that same private shoot, guys had a tree that was growing out of the bank by his pond, and he was wanting to cut it down. It wasn't a big tree, it was about this big around. Like so. So he says, you think you can knock that tree down with that? Oh, shit, man, that's no challenge at all. About 15 rounds, and down she went.
Oh, but Jesus, if anybody knows anything about the M2 or the 50 caliber round, it's literally a
small cannon, really.
Well, the bullet, not the full round. The bullet itself is literally like that, and then you got all the pressure behind it. All right, here's a question.
750 grain bullet, I think.
Anybody out in Radio Land can answer this question. I was always told by the Army engineers that if you want to bring down a 1-foot diameter tree, take 7 wraps of det cord. I never saw it done. I never knew if that was them talking shit just to us dumb grunts.
There are different diameters of depth cord, okay, which means a different power to it. So if you had the right configuration, it would probably, or enough wraps, it would probably do it. But anyway, after I got done shooting that tree and dumping it into the pond for him, I got a couple rounds off after it started to fall, before I could let my finger off the trigger. So we went tracing the bullet across his property.
Oh, God.
This is in woods, a wooded lot, okay? Come up to a cherry tree that was 2 foot in diameter. See where it went in, went to the backside, see where it come out. Follow it to the next tree, another one, about 2 foot in diameter. See where it went in and came out. Went to the next tree, was a little smaller in diameter, probably 1.5 foot. Went in and come out. We lost it after that. But they say in order to protect yourself from a standard 50 caliber bullet, you've got to have at least 4 feet of dirt. 4 feet of dirt to cover you.
I know in basic training they taught us when building our defensive fighting positions, you need 18 inches of overhead cover for your standard, like ballistic, a grenade. So what we were taught was your normal sandbag was 6 inches. So we were taught to put 3 sandbags on top and 3 sandbags deep all the way around us to stop any. Forgive me, my nose is getting crazy stuffed up. I even put a bunch of whiskey up my nose.
What is 16 fingers whiskey?
I'll try some Irish.
Anyway, yeah, that was the weekend that after we were firing that, the state police showed up at this property. It seems the guy had a black powder cannon, homemade cannon.
Oh, God.
And a piece of it broke off and went down and hit his house that he was renting to his brother-in-law, and his brother-in-law called the cops on him.
Well, thankfully I have a good brother-in-law, but it seems brother-in-laws cause a lot of trouble.
And it penetrated the siding, but it was stuck in the vinyl siding. It didn't go anywhere. Well, he called the police, and here comes about 9 o'clock at night, 3 police cars coming up the dirt road, and as they pull into the campsite area, there's my 50, there's my 30, all pointing down the road.
Oh, God.
And the cops come up there, and they saw that, just, oh, fuck.
What have we gotten into?
Yeah. And so we had one cop being an asshole, and the other one was a female. She was nice about it. He said, can you imagine what we thought when we come around the corner and we saw them? Well, if you would have let us know you were coming, we could have pointed in a different direction. But
how hard is that?
Coming. Yeah.
I recall something that you and I did not witness this personally, but this is part of civic lore. I did witness some of this. Back when I first met Daryl in the late 80s, I was, 16, 17. He had, I think, 4 or 5 different military weapons with blank adapters. He had the M1 Garand, his AR, I think M14, and one or two other ones.
An AK-47.
AK-47. And I remember this particular story. This is God's honest truth. You had just refinished your family room, built it on, and put a drop ceiling in. Kathy was working second shift, so me, you, and your son decided to watch, I think it was Platoon or whatever, and we sat.
Firebase Gloria.
We sat in the family room, and each one of us had our own weapon with blank adapters, and we just every gunfight we were But you were like, we have to get this cleaned up before Kathy gets home. She's not gonna be happy about this. So we knew about half an hour, but we stopped, put the guns away, picked up everything, opened the windows, but we didn't think to look up. There was I think it was an AR-15 or maybe it was an SK or AK-47 round, ejected itself straight up into the drop ceiling, and it was stuck. And as soon as she walked in the room, that's the first thing she saw. Oh my God, the wrath of Kathy was deep that night. At any rate, what I was getting at was, around the time that I met Daryl, you and some of your friends used to do war games in your backyard.
Yeah.
And they'd sneak around and kind of like paintball, but without the paintballs. And I guess one of your neighbors called the cops.
Yeah.
And one of the cops came walking through the backyard. Civic! God damn it, it's me! Don't shoot!
What the fuck you doing back here? Playing Cowboys and Indians? What the hell? Who do you think? He had a rookie with him.
So he had to be tough.
He told the rookie, he said, whatever you do, don't go for your fucking gun. He says, you'll never clear the leather, because if I know Civic, he's got a loaded weapon on him somewhere. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I even put on a couple demonstrations for the Marine Corps recruiters.
In Boy Scouts.
And,
When we were in the Boy Scouts together, I don't even think you were our Scoutmaster, full Scoutmaster yet. You had your shooting jack right outside here, and when you had you didn't have your fully automatic or your M16 yet, but you had your M11 and all your other guns. For our troop night, we came out here, and I can't even imagine how much it would cost now, but there was like 8 or 9 of us guys, and we each got to fire off a couple, 3, 4 rounds. I can only remember how loud that little shooting shack was. Just a reverberation. Mind you, it was a shed with a hole in it so you can shoot out of it, but that was one of my fonder memories from my younger days. You couldn't do that anymore.
Oh, shit.
No, people would. There's CNN anchors that shot an AR-15 and it's still having PTSD because of the explosive blast and the concussion and the arm hurt for 3 days.
Damn recoil, anyway.
Mind you have 7-year-olds out there at gun shoots. I'm done.
Yeah, I've been to dynamite shoots with some of that stuff, and you want to have some fun. Get somebody to put a quarter of a stick of dynamite out there at 100 yards and shoot it with a .308.
Oh God!
The first time I shot at it, I shot and I didn't hit it exactly. See, it was sitting sideways, so I didn't hit it exactly on. It spun it around. So I fired the second one. It spun it around, to where just the round end, which would be about an inch diameter target at 100 yards, was facing me. So when I fired the third shot, then boom! The target was too big. I had to make it smaller, a little more difficult.
There's my favorite writers in the whole wide world. He was big into guns. He had a ranch out in Colorado. He would oftentimes take full propane tanks.
This is funny. G.I. Joseph. It would be nice if you had doing banjos geared up for the background music to chat with the bears.
Oh, good Lord. Well played, sir. Well played.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Well, at any rate, one of my favorite writers. He's now dead. He was fond of taking a 5-gallon propane canister and taking it out onto the back part of his ranch. And aside from that, he would take the canister or two, and he would duct tape a couple of flares, bada boom. But whenever he had a lot of famous people come out to his ranch because he's very popular. Hunter Thompson is the guy.
Yeah, the sad part is we did that in fun. Okay, and nobody ever said nothing. Today, that same thing will get you the SWAT team, the ATF, and the FBI, and the CIA, and the Chinese Navy, all coming after you to arrest your ass. And just like we were talking today at the gun show, who would have thought that a year and a half ago you could walk into the bank wearing a mask, not when you come out, not have to worry about a SWAT team waiting for you. Okay, so yeah, I see, Jack, that you did send them the thing that she was still feeling shit. Well, sorry to hear that. If you send her another, why, let her know that we were asking about her and hope she can get better quick. If she can't, she probably needs to disinfect herself with some good old-fashioned alcohol, strong alcohol. Oh.
You need to find yourself a redneck with some good old-fashioned shine.
Yeah.
That'll get you going from head to toe.
Something like about 150 or 200 proof. Something will take the enamel off your teeth. You see the headlines about two things. Some of the Democrats are starting to put pressure to have the construction started up again on the wall.
Oh my goodness! It probably won't be the wall. It will be a
mini fence.
Some sort of invasion barricade, anti-Trump device. It'll be anti-Trump in some way.
And then because they're having such a problem with illegals coming across the border and the kids, and they're running out of facilities, they're now talking about opening up the old Japanese internment camps from World War II. The first one is Los Angeles, I believe it is, in which they figure they can house 5,000 there. Yeah. So
there's a story on. I do a lot of my stuff on Breitbart. Let me find this. Forgive me. Continue. They here it is. Board leave from your job to help care for migrant children in government-run shelters packed with new arrivals at the border. A briefing memo sent to administration officials this week directed the health department to identify and deploy all available federal volunteers to support.
Had held the information back for months, and then who paid the World Health Organization off so that they wouldn't report it, so that they could. Big buttload of buffering. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, they're showing you they're taking you down because now it says we only have one person watching and one like. That's what I got to think about that.
Holy smokes!
God, the silence is working pretty good, isn't it? Didn't even hear the ass slam shut. And, ooh, that don't smell very good.
You never do.
Whoa.
I just wanted to give you what was left. Just a little.
Buttermilk is working.
Oh.
Did somebody step on a skunk?
Lord have mercy. I watched a video on, I don't know where it was the other day. It was this.
Stop.
Oh, I'm sure they already have a plan with that.
Yeah. Gone again. Yeah, we're back down to 3. So, I just have to love America. To have to go after all these different social medias because they become too big for their britches and arbitrarily censoring what people.
Computer service. Well, that was in 1996. A lot of shit's changed.
Yeah, a lot of this Facebook and stuff didn't come out until afterwards.
Oh, that's what I said
I'll
out
give them
loud.
a double moonshine here.
So funny.
It's getting dark. Give them a double moonshine. Got some more Wawa.
Yeah. Hook you up like a tow truck, boss.
Boy.
It's some decent hooch second time around. I didn't like it last night, but.
Yeah, even the second time and each time after you get past a certain period, it gets better and better and better. It's one of them things that could get you intoxicated pretty damn quick.
Not me. I'm invincible.
Invisible?
Bubble, 12 in trouble, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's something to consider, but hey, freedom of speech, right? At least it's what it's supposed to be. Under the first one, he had about 12 minutes left to go, and when we finally got it back up. So, and Scotty's got us on the on his hickey there. So,
but you're looking kind of wonky.
What's that? Yeah, the signal could be because of storm interference, or that could be their way of buffering.